Yeah, my name is Warren Matt, Warren John Matt Sr. Yeah, my Indian name is Blue Sky Thunderbird Man. I was named in a ceremony up there in Rocky Boy years ago. I was born in right there at Fort Belknap, April 6, 1940. Just a young fella. Northeast corner, but I've lived in Dodson. I've lived in Old Hayes. I lived at the agency, and my folks bought the ranch we own today. They bought that, and we moved down there, and that's basically where I was raised. Well, I'm enrolled as a Grogon. I got a little bit of Blackfeet in me, and I'm told I might have a little bit of Northern Cheyenne and Northern Arapaho. To me, it means everything. Our people are a proud people, and we got a really extensive history, and a lot of our own people don't even know our history. And I'm going by what I've been told, what I've read. Of course they say don't believe everything you read, but basically, what I've been told down through the years. And we got if we want, we got to get a good future, but we have to change things around at Fort Belknap to make it, I guess, equal for everybody. To include the off-reservation enrolled members, because they're enrolled and they're part of our people, part of our communities, even though they're forced. A lot of them are forced off the reservation. It's they move because they have to. The tribal councils don't do their job, and I sat on tribal council 88 through 91, so I know. I was no yes man. I wasn't one of the good old boys. I asked questions. I argued. Not only for on reservation, but for off reservation enrolled members also. But we got to turn things around at Fort Belknap. We've been spinning our wheels for too many years, not doing anything, not going anyplace, and that whole thing goes back to tribal councils not doing their job. And they're still not doing their job. When I was on there, I'll take blame for it too. Even though I tried, I argued, they branded me as a troublemaker because I asked questions. I wasn't a yes man, and I wasn't part of the good old boy herd. I made enemies. Not intentionally, just trying to get the 12 of us to do our job we were elected to do. And man, that was the most frustrating 4 years of my life. So I done what little I could do. When you're, Gus Helgeson, he honored me, branded me lone fighter. And a lot of times I'd be arguing and fighting by myself, for our people, on our reservation, our homelands. But anyway, we can if we want, and it's up to the people. They have to get, get some backbone and they're afraid of repercussions. And it's like that old saying, divide and conquer. It's illegal. To me, it's an illegal foreign immigrant, United States government. They're temporarily in charge right now, but they're not going to be forever. But we can still recoup and make the best of it for our people off reservation and on the reservation, if the people grow a backbone and start doing the right thing and making the tribal council do the right thing. And I'm talking about every tribal council from the inception of the IRA government. No tribal council has ever done their job. I might get a lot of people upset and mad, and that's not my intention. I'm just telling it like it is. It's up to us. If we don't make our tribal councils do their elected duties for the constituents who elected them, then our people are going to continue to suffer. Edward Matt Sr., he was a Gros-Ventre, and Vernie Aromack, she was a Gros-Ventre. My dad, he spoke fluent Gros-Ventre. He talked sign language. He used to sing at powwows. He told me, and this is nothing negative against Elmer Maine, but he said, he told me a number of times, he said, they always ask Elmer to talk when they want somebody to speak Gros-Ventre. He said, Elmer speaks the woman's version. He said, there's two versions of talking Gros-Ventre, the man's version and the woman's version. He said, Elmer was raised by his grandmother, that's why he speaks the woman's version. Frank Earl and Mary Adams Earl, and on my dad's side, I didn't know them. They passed away, way before I had a chance to know either one of them. Let me see. I started at the Hayes Public. I went to the mission 1 year. That's where the nun. They used to beat us on the back of the hand with a ruler. I almost took that ruler away from that nun at one time and used it on her. But then I went to Harlem because my dad, he was a heavy equipment operator. And they transferred him to Harlem. To the agency. So we lived in agency housing there. And then that's when my parents, they bought our ranch, the ranch of my aunt and uncle, Al and Julia Schultz, down in the northeast corner. A lot of wild game. We lived on a lot of wild game. I had a little single shot 22, and especially in the wintertime, I'd go down on the creek and I'd shoot cottontails. But we ate a lot of pheasants. We ate a lot of prairie chickens, a lot of sage hens, deer, basically wild game, mostly. Just my father, when he'd be around the elders. And I used to really like that. And then I used to watch him again. Like I said, he used to talk sign language. And old John Earthboy, he was a center boy. John couldn't speak, but he could write. And I don't know why, something wrong with his, I don't know whether there's something wrong with his voice box or what, but he used to write things down, and he used to speak sign language, and sometimes he lived north of White Bear there. We picked him up a couple times. He was hitchhiking to Harlem, do some shopping, and we'd go into Beanie's bar there, and my dad and John, they would sip on a glass of beer, and I'd sip on a Coke. And they'd really talk sign language, really go after it. And they'd laugh like heck. And my dad would interpret to me what they were talking about. That was really interesting. I was basically raised on a ranch life. And in them days, they weren't that many, they weren't, the barbed wire, the fences, they weren't that many then. And the herd of cattle we had, my dad and my family, we used to drive them from, after we branded in the spring, we used to drive them, trail them by horseback out to my dad's land out south there, by right above George Fox's old place. And my dad had 520 acres there, which he gifted to me. And we'd drive them out there, and then we just let them, because there were hardly any fences, they just spread out all over the place. And come fall time, we'd ride back out there again, horseback, gather them up. My uncle Johnny Adams and Genevieve Adams, we'd stay at their place at night. We'd gather them up and we'd trail them back down to the place on the Milk River there, on People's Creek. Not really. There weren't that many ceremonies. It's like my dad said. He told us a number of times. He says the reason why I didn't teach you kids how to speak Grovon, he said they drilled it into our heads not to pass it on to you guys. Yeah. In fact, I was growing up. I was basically a devout Catholic, and then I volunteered for Vietnam when I was 24 years old. I was already out of the Army 3 years. Vietnam broke out. I was on relocation down in San Francisco, and Vietnam broke out, and I was brainwashed. I thought, oh man, I'm going to fight for my country. I'm going to go protect my family. And I did. Once I got over there, though, after a while, I thought, what the hell are we doing here? We had no business here, and we didn't. And I wasn't the only one that, found that out for ourselves. It was an illegal war, and that's what I tell people. I volunteered for an illegal war. Every war since World War II, this country had no business in it, any of them. And even the Second World War, maybe not even that one. But the reason why Japan bombed Pearl Harbor on December 7th was because this government put embargo on oil. That's why Japan bombed Pearl Harbor. But because of Hitler, we'd probably been in the war anyway, Second World War. Well, number one, that illegal 70-mile radius, that 70-mile limit, that's illegal. You know, if they're not going to serve enrolled members, regardless of where they live, because again, the reason most of our people, the majority of our enrolled members live off the reservation because they're forced to, not because they want to. They're forced to because the tribal councils do not do their job. You know, they're too, excuse my language, they're ass kissers. You know, they have no backbone. And they don't do their job. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to sit on that tribal council. You know, I don't consider myself any smarter than anyone else. But again, you know, it's my dad. He wasn't a troublemaker, but he didn't back down from nothing or nobody. He wasn't a troublemaker, but he said a number of times. I used to look at him. He'd say, "I should take my rifle, go up there, and put a scattering on that tribal council." And when I was growing up, then as I got older, I knew what he was talking about. You know, there's too much nepotism, favoritism, cronyism, you name it. That's why our people are still spinning the wheels. And that's why most of them are forced. They're forced to move off the reservation because of insufficient housing, insufficient health care, insufficient employment. It's unnecessary. If you take a look around at Fort Belknap, see who's all got the houses, see who's all got the jobs, see who's all living fairly well. It'll tell you a whole lot. You know, it's our people used to care for each other. They don't no more. And I'll argue with anybody about that. Because I know I'm 84 years old. 84 winters. And I've watched this BS go on, you know, too long. But, you know, our prophecies say that, our prophecies, they talk, I mean, you know, about the sacred circle of life. And that things should come back around the way they used to be. We probably won't see it. It'll probably be out way after our time, but it's going to happen. Again, 84 winters I've been watching, and it's, you know, it's been happening. Robert Gopher, who was from Hill 57, an Ojibwe Sundance maker from Hill 57 in Great Falls, he used to accuse me of bringing the sweat lodge back to Fort Belknap. But anyway, you know, it's when we started the sweat lodges and the sundances and everything, you know, with some of the same people that used to drive by and say, "Oh, look at those devil worshippers standing by that fire, heating those rocks for that sweat lodge." Now some of them same people are in that sweat lodge running with some of them ceremonies, taking part in some of them ceremonies. See, I came to my senses, got away from the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church is an evil institution. I know, I'm 84 years old. Like I said, for about my first 30 years of my life, I was a Catholic till I come to my senses. I got shot. I got killed and wounded in Vietnam. And I came back to life. Believe it or not. You know, so, but in our prophecies, it foretells everything that's taking place right now. Our people are coming back to our languages. Our people are coming back to our ceremonies, you know, little by little. But again, this is in our prophecy. It's going to happen. And anyway, you know, it's good to see it happening. Some of our people are still too brainwashed. They're still Catholics. They're still Christians. And that's what's hurting our people, believe it or not. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but again, I don't mean hurt anybody's feelings. I'm just telling it like it is. You know, if you take a look at Canada and down here in the States, and this is in our prophecies, some of our land is being given back to our different tribes, even in Canada. In South Dakota, that Catholic Church, St. Paul's, I don't know why that, when I was on tribal council, I told them, I said, let's go out there and tell Father Retzel. And I like Father Retzel. I sat in ceremonies with him. But I said, let's go out there and tell Father Retzel we're taking the mission back. We're taking the land back. The elders talked about the only reason the Catholic Church wasn't given that land. It was loaned to them. To house and educate Indian children. I told the council, let's go out there and tell Father Retzel, they got to vacate the premises. We're taking the whole, the mission, the buildings and the land back. And Boochie Allen, John Allen Sr., he was land chairman. He said, Warren, he said, you go out there and tell Father Retzel. I said, you damn right I will. I said, let's put it on let's vote on it, pass it, motion. And I'll go out there and tell him. I know Father Retzel. Well, it stopped right there. But, our people are, excuse my language, our people are chicken shits. We have no warriors in Indian country. But our Crazy Dog Warrior Society is coming back. Our Crowbelt Warrior Society is coming back. And again, these things are in our prophecies, that those societies are going to return. I mean, the Crazy Dog Warrior Society is the police arm of our people. It supersedes the tribal council, supersedes the BIA. Basically, again, it's the police arm of the whole reservation, all of our people. But we got to get some warriors in there, and we do. Catcher Rope, he's the leader of it. Sly Blackbird, who's in there. Michael Blackwolf, Randall Wirt Senior, Butch. We got some strong people in there in the Crazy Dog Warrior Society. That elder, his name is Herman Yellow, old woman, is Siksika, Alberta. He said he's part Grovon. He told us in that ceremony that he's bringing our Crazy Dog Warrior Society back to us. He told us, he said, our Blackfoot Confederacy borrowed it from the Grovons in the 1600s. And he said, we're bringing it back to you. I mean, this is in our prophecy. It didn't just happen to happen. It's in our prophecy. It was meant to happen. Well, let me see. Kind of a crazy story. First time I went to moved to California, I was scared off by a little German girl. I met her. I was stationed in Turkey for a year and a half. I met her there. She followed me here to the States. I said, I'm not too young to get married. But I caught the train to San Jose. We had two sisters. And then I moved back home. And then, let me see, then they sent me away to relocation. I went down to San Francisco again, relocation. That's when I volunteered for Vietnam. Again, I was brainwashed. That's why I done that. Well, right now, I live both places. I live in the northeast corner. I still have a box, an address in Harlem. And the reason we got an address there is that both my wife and myself, we both worked for the tribe, for a lot, quite a bit. So we just got a box there instead of Dodson, and we just kept it. We still got it. But right now I'm down here with my visiting my family in Las Vegas. And again, I have 5 kids down here. I have 2. Let me see. Oldest daughter lives in Havre. Second, the oldest daughter lives in Sterling, Colorado. And again, not basically because they want to be, but they're forced off the reservation. Most of our people are forced off the reservation. And it ties in with the alcohol and drug problems on Fort Belknap. And it ties in with everything, all the other negative things, because the tribal councils will not do their job. We have treaties, we have treaty rights, which are, it says the supreme law of the land are treaties. And they're binding contracts. But no tribal council will do their job and force, not ask, but force. The BIA force IHS to do their jobs, for our treaties and treaty rights. But again, as far as I'm concerned, I'm still a resident of Fort Belknap. And, I go back and forth. I got a post office box in Harlem. And I was just to a ceremony in Browning about a month ago. I caught a ride up there with a friend of mine from California, and we attended a sacred ceremony up there. They call it Crazy Dumb, not mixing things. They call it the Winterman Bone Dance Ceremony, one of the winter ceremonies. My son danced for 4 years with the Northern Arapaho. I got a master's degree in education from Harvard University. And I made up my mind when I graduated. I thought, that's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to go Sundance with the Northern Arapaho. If I'm going to do any good with this degree from my people, I'm going to go Sundance first. And I did for 4 years, Northern Arapahos. And I sundanced up there in Mosquito and Red Pheasant, both places. And I sundanced at Joe Ironman Sundance, his first Sundance up in the canyon. 3 of us pierced. There was Gary Blackbird, this guy from California, and myself. We're the only 3 that pierced. Since then, everybody does. And I fasted up on Eagle Child. And I told Bernie Perry, she was one of our elders. And I told her, she came, I used to work for the tribe as a counselor in vocational, not vocational education, vocational education. I was a counselor. And she came in one day she said, I want to see about sending my grandson to school. I said, okay, Bernie. So we sat down, we talked. When she was done with her business, I told her, Bernie, I said, I'm going to go up on Eagle Child and fast tomorrow. She said, oh. He said, she really got scared for me. She said, the last guy went up there to fast, we never did see him again. I told her, Bernie, I said, I heard all those boogeyman stories. And I said, I made up my mind. I've been thinking about this for, years. I'm going to go up there and fast. Regardless of what comes to me, I'm going to stay. And I did. I fasted 4 days and 4 nights up there. And they told me that I was the first person to do that in 50 years. They said that Father Retzel went up there to fast and they got run off of there. But anyway, now everybody goes up there to fast. Then I fasted on McCann Butte. Another fasting. My uncle, Bull Lodge, Buffalo Bull Lodge. I don't know if he read his book, 7 Visions of Bull Lodge. It's my great uncle. Let me see, one of my, I'm related to Red Whip too. I fasted up there in Cypress Hills. Last place I fasted, last place I sundanced, I should say. Yeah, I sundanced for nine times. So I guess, I'm still a pipe carrier. I was given 4 pipes. I didn't ask for any of them. But I guess people felt I deserved them. I gave 2 of them to my 2 oldest sons. I gave one to my son-in-law, one of my son-in-laws, and because I thought they deserved them. And I still keep the one I have now. Oh yeah, like I say, I'm still a resident. But we were blacklisted. My wife and I, we both have master's degrees in education from Harvard University back east. But we were blacklisted. A lot of people they're afraid to talk about it, but he's one of the main reasons. He controls tribal courts. He's not even an elected official. He also controls tribal council. And a lot of people think he was recruited by the FBI when he worked back in D.C. to work against our people. A lot of people think he's either getting blackmailed or paid or maybe both to do it. They split my family up. They blacklisted my wife and I. We couldn't get a job on the reservation with our master's degrees in education. Wounded Vietnam combat war veteran. My wife, she's originally from Ontario, Canada. She's a Ojibwe. So my adopted brother, Pat Bugler Jr., who is part Grovon and Cree from Red Pheasant, the Head Start director came open on the reserve up there, so he told my wife about it. They hired her. And her and the kids moved up there. They want me to move too, but I told them, I said, they're not going to drive me out of here. They can try, but they're not. They want our land. They want a ranch here. Some of my closest relatives, some of my mother's, some of my aunt's kids, some of the Killigals, some of the James, they're I might sound like I'm bragging, but I'm not. I'm just telling them like it is. They're jealous of me because, I'm not a yes man. I stand up and fight for, I don't look for fights. I don't consider myself a troublemaker. I've always fought for the underdog. But again, they run things there. Everybody that lives off the reservation can see it. And the education director for the tribal council come up. Dallas Howard, who was a veteran, Army veteran. He also had a college degree from Missoula. Myself, with a master's degree from Harvard, wounded Vietnam combat war veteran. We applied for that education director with the tribe. The was chairman. He was on the council with him, all of his cronies. Anyway, who'd they hire? They hired who wasn't a veteran. As far as we knew, she didn't have any degree. Anyway, so I got a hold of Dallas. We went in there to the council chambers. I done most of the talking, almost all the talking. I said, you have two veterans standing right here with degrees, college degrees. You have in your policies, and tribal policies and procedures, it says veterans preference. The chairman said, well, she lives with a veteran. I said, that has nothing to do with it. Well, she was living with his cousin. Nepotism. And he gets away with all that bullshit. Like when Lenore Stiffarm was she was president of the college. I was working for a different program, and we were housed over there in Redwood. Anyway, one day she came into my office really excited. Warren, she says, I just got in an argument in the council chamber with chairman and vice chairman. I said, oh boy, Eleanor, you're gone. Oh, no, Warren. It's okay. You know, we made up. Next day, she was packing her stuff. They fired her. They could fire her as president of the college. You know, destroyed a lot of families, done a lot of harm to different families, different people there. And they're still getting away with it. Myself. My dad, I guess. He was, again, he spoke fluent Grovon. He spoke sign language. He was a singer at the powwow. Oh, I used to, and I'm a traditional dancer too. He sang at powwows. He used to sing with the Gons, you know, the Gon boys and other drums. Like I say, he wasn't a troublemaker. He didn't go looking for trouble, but he didn't back down for no man or nothing. And he also fought for the underdog. That's the way I was raised, and that's what I done. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, I graduated from boarding school too. Thumb River Indian Boarding School on Northern Cheyenne Reservation, Busby, Montana. Well, my two younger sisters, my mother died when I was 14 years old. And the government had my dad send my two younger sisters, let me see, not the baby. She was, my grandmother was taking care of her. But the BI had my dad send my two younger sisters. One of them is 2 years younger than me. The other one is 4 years younger than me. And like I said, the youngest, she was still a baby then. Anyway, the middle of my freshman year, they came back for Christmas vacation. And I went back with them. I asked my dad if I could go back with them. And he let me go. So I spent my last 3.5 years in high school. I graduated in 1958 from Busby Indian Boarding School. Be like our ancestors. We used to give away our best. Not only that, we had no homeless, no hungry, no orphans. Our people always took care of each other. Our people today are different. A lot of them think, oh, no, we're not. That's bullshit. I know. I'm 84 years old. I've lived it. Racism in Montana, man. People today, they have no idea what racism is. Again, 84 years old, I've witnessed it, I've lived it. You know, Montana today is even, Montana used to be a blue state, now it's a red state. They claim that the governor is from the mafia, that he's from the New Jersey East Coast mob. And, you know, all the congressional people, they're all Republicans. John Tester got beat. He helped Indian country, but right now we got Indian haters in there. Just like Trump. Trump's an Indian hater. And, you know, he's going to try it. He wants to do away with our tribal sovereignty. He wants to do away with our reservations, our treaties, and our treaty rights. Oh, I don't know, Indian country's going to have to unite, which we probably won't. But anyway, another thing I tell our younger people, clean up the reservation, get rid of the favoritism, get rid of the nepotism, get rid of the corruption in the council. Our people deserve better. Our ancestors are probably turning over in their graves, you know, because of the way we are today. I know they're ashamed of us, no doubt in my mind. I throw myself in there too. I know they're ashamed of me for not doing more. But anyway, you know, I appreciate you guys doing this. And I hope, you know, I hope it has positive effects for our people. We can be better people, all of us. We've got to get rid of the alcohol and drugs and the corruption. And that's what the Crazy Dog Warrior Society started out to do. Like I say, you know, they're the police arm of our people. Oh, let me throw one other thing in there. That water compact with the state and the feds, that's illegal. You know, and our people should not vote in favor of it. When I was on tribal council, that's when it first came to Fort Belknap. They assigned me as, there's supposed to be 3 Grovons and 3 Assiniboines on there as lifelong members for consistency. Well, right away, the campaign to get me off, then they did. They selected. He didn't do shit. And they got me off that water committee. And that was illegal. But anyway, you know, that's our people won't grow a backbone and stand up to anybody. They just let everything happen, negative happen. They're afraid of repercussions. In the tribal council, they're taking the wrong instructions in the wrong direction. Again, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to sit on that tribal council. We have treaties, we have treaty rights. And the tribal council has never, ever enforced them as a group. Even today, the tribal council is not doing their job. So as far as I'm concerned, you know, and when I was on the council, we didn't get paid. Only the chairman, vice chairman, and secretary treasurer were the only 3 salaried people. The rest of us, there's 12 of us, but the other 9 of us, we got, $78 some cents per meeting. We didn't have that many meetings. Plus we had, those of us that lived away from the agency, we got a little bit of mileage money. But out of my own pocket, I used to go out to Hayes, out to Lodgepole, you know, try to help the people out there. But anyway, you know, somewhere along the line, and I got a pretty good idea when it happened. Somebody on the council got it passed where all tribal council members get paid. The last time I went before the tribal council, I told them, I said, you know, this tribal council at Fort Belknap is second paid highest tribal council in the state. Yet we're the poorest reservation. There's something mighty wrong with that picture. You know, you ever hear the phrase, matters of great importance shall be brought before the people? To me, that's never used. You know, people just do what they want on the council. The people have nothing to say about it. And that's wrong. In the old Buffalo days, you know, the people had. That's why it's in there. Any matters of great importance shall be brought before the people. That's not done anymore. You know, it's just shooting in the dark. Do what I want. And that's the other thing. We need audits. We need audits on all programs. Assiniboine Treaty Committee, Gros-Ventre Treaty Committee, all tribal, all BIE, all IHS. There's too much money has disappeared, and nobody knows what happened to it. And that's the people's money, not just certain ones. You know, it's just, I don't know. Like I say, our ancestors, they got to be mighty ashamed of us. Needlessly. It doesn't have to be like that.